are calling out a Bloomberg article that says expats are priced out of Dubai. Now, this is quite an interesting article. So this was up on Bloomberg, I think just this week, in the beginning of this week, over the weekend. Yeah, and it's basically about an article that says Dubai expats are being priced out of living in Dubai and has been shot down by Twitterati. Now, the article says the influx of wealthy Russians and crypto millionaires has driven up the price of living and driven expats out. And while, yes, the property market has risen significantly over the recent years, the news that expats can no longer afford to live in Dubai is simply untrue. Now, the post was met with fake news criticism, and while people disagree on that fact, they also agree that Dubai is busier and prices have risen. The overall summary is not all that accurate.
So the article looks in particular at rents shooting up, private school fees rising, and the fact that the price of cabs are now comparable to New York City, which I definitely do not agree with. It compares the price of grocery shops in the UK to Dubai and say that the average price of villas in Dubai have shot up.
Now, people acknowledge prices are rising, and let us know in the comments as well, what do you think about this? Like, has living in Dubai become increasingly unbearable, or is it something that's, it depends on the area, depends on the location, depends on the lifestyle, and in line with inflation, but that the UAE is a trailblazer, and a local citizen had hit back stating that Dubai is busy as a bee. And yes, the number of people living in the city has risen, driven up prices, but this doesn't accurately sum up the feeling on the ground. And Dubai continues to be the land of opportunity where people can earn a good living, and affordable living is still a possibility.
So the government is transparent about its plans for the coming years, and residents back those plans, in fact. So expats are proud to call this their home, and many are finding opportunities to ensure that they stay here long term. And as rental prices have risen, more and more expats are purchasing homes here in Dubai, according to a Property Finder report in 2022.
So not only are people not leaving, but plans are also in motion to welcome new expats as part of Dubai's 2040 plan. The population will increase by the year 2040 from 3.3 million to 7.8 million. So all those plans and infrastructures for that is underway. However, that is the basic gist of it, right? So you have people debating both the sides, saying Dubai has become unbearable in terms of expenses, and then people saying literally what we mentioned earlier, that it really depends on what your lifestyle is in the city.
I don't even think it comes down to a lifestyle thing. Of course it's a factor, but we also had someone from Dubai Land Department come recently and did in fact say that it's not about more people coming in or more people from Russia coming in and starting their companies here. That's an insignificant part of the bigger picture. We also have to take in the fact that we were in COVID for the last few years and we're coming out of it. So the price of properties are going back to what they initially were. And then, of course, there's inflation. Every year, the price of goods and services do increase. But to compare the price of taxis here when you have Hala Taxi to New York cabs, that's simply not true.
I mean, I see both the points, honestly. I see people arguing over here and saying things have gone up comparatively, and like you said, it's because of, obviously the aftermath of COVID-19. And if you compare, yesterday we were just speaking to our CEO Rich, and he was saying how if you compare the prices in Dubai compared to other countries around the world, it is horrible out there, like the US and the UK. You see the prices shooting up there, and people just losing jobs left, right, and center. And in Dubai, we mentioned, it's the land of opportunities. People the cost of living is increasing. However, the recruitment, the number of job applications also increasing. People are recruiting more, so it's kind of a balance in a way, not that bad.
Yeah, I think we're just going into a more
busier period.
Exactly, and it's all playing a role in each other. What I'm paying for rent here, I'm paying less than I did in London for my one bedroom here. I'm paying less than I did for a bedroom that I was sharing, well, not a bedroom, an apartment that I was sharing with Alice in England. Yeah, so I'm paying probably 5K less for my own space, and that is really cheap. In hindsight.
Yeah, for sure. And it really depends on the location. So if you're looking for something quite fancy and out in, the Palm or Blue Waters or downtown, of course, prices in those prime areas will be exorbitant. But if you look more into the more affordable areas, for example, Old Dubai, Dera, Karama, Nada,
Arjan,
and this
Furjan,
Arjan Furjan, like looking
Triple Ali
this
as a
side.
whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the new properties that are coming up, the Mac properties. So it's just like, you know, in this case, you really get the feel of like, okay, it is a mix. And it quite literally depends on your lifestyle.
For you personally, let's say in the last 6 months to a year, what have you noticed change that's impact you personally in your daily life, or weekly or monthly?
Okay, so personally, you guys let us know as well if this has impacted you and what are your feelings on this in specific. Okay, but for me, it's like obviously the taxi fares, I would have to say, and like groceries, like you see the prices, but it goes up to a certain extent, like it goes up as per the index.
Yeah.
It's not like a huge inflation, or like, you know, overnight, it's just like, whoa, like that was 2 dirhams, now it's 10 dirhams. Like, no.
Okay, well, yeah.
And it's as per the index, and it's like happening all over the world. So it's like if you're complaining about Dubai and are you looking to move somewhere else? Have you seen the prices in other countries? It's just about adjusting.
That's so true.
But one thing for sure is like we should see salary prices match up to the cost of living.
Yeah, agreed. Because that specific post that initiated this conversation, it was the price of living in London to Dubai. And the cost of renting is higher than the average salary. So like that doesn't match up. It's already hard enough for people to survive on the bare minimum elsewhere.
Exactly. So, I mean, like the whole conversation literally comes down to like employers. It comes down to, I mean, of course, not the whole conversation, but like a part of it comes down to just like when you recruit and like, you know, what are you offering? Are you considering that, you know, the cost of living has gone up? Accordingly, you need to remunerate like your employees and just match up to the bare minimum of the expenses that they have to incur in the city.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
Anyway, but guys, stay tuned.
Because right after a very short break, we're jumping into Casey's conversation with Muna, who is, she does a lot. Muna is actually very inspiring. She is member of the National MS Society and a transformational and personal growth coach. She also suffers from MS, and this episode is all about finding acceptance within yourself and learning to live basically a new life. So stay tuned for that and enjoy our last episode of Novartis MS Talks.